It looks like it's live.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the World of Darkness Changeling venue. Zander is heading down to Home Fires to see if he can seek an audience with Tribentin. So we'll have Marshal's office at this time and seeing if Tribentin helps.
Tribentin's office is in the very basement. It's very dark down there on purpose, as Tribentin is not a big fan of the light. He has a door that just says Chief Magistrate Tribentin on it, and the door is closed. You can see a faint bit of light coming from the door.
Zander will knock at the door.
The door opens. Inside, Tribentin's office is lit by just a single candle. His slew of eyes, it provides more than enough light for him. In the center of the room, there is an old antique oak desk, two old antique chairs in front of the desk, an old filing cabinet with the door partially open. Looks like some files have been taken out. And Tribentin himself sits at the desk looking at some papers.
Pardon my intrusion.
Mr. Shaw, how can I be of assistance?
He will come in and he will shut the door behind him and point to a seat. May I?
Please, have a seat.
He will sit, trying to make his eyes focus to the light or the lack thereof. I hope I am not intruding.
No, you're not. How can I be of assistance today?
Well, it's rather a complicated. Discussing with some others the recent events with the attack on the Bellfires and the destruction of so many freeholds.
You refer to the
And Dantain. I am concerned, and I'm hoping that you would be able to help in this matter. It seems that some of us, well, I believe that this is not a mere coincidence. Everything that's happened within the last year, this doesn't seem like a one-off event. I tend to try to deal as much in logic as possible, although I have no solid proof at this time. I truly feel that this attack is a prelude to what could be a very one-sided war.
Interesting.
For me, the facts line up. Like I said, beginning with the attack at the Unsilly Fest, the attempted kidnapping of the Queen, the death of Romulus, the Selkie Queen. There's just too many things happening for it to be a mere coincidence. And let's face it, if I am correct, our enemies have us at a great disadvantage. And another attack could very well wipe us out.
I've had very similar thoughts.
as a look of relief comes across his face. It's like, I knew I could not be the only one that was thinking this.
No, and nor are you the only one to ask me these very questions. Do you have any proof?
And see, that is the problem. By the time we gather proof, it could very well be too late. Myself, Astria, and Rancor, we have milled this process over the last couple of days. And Timmy feels that he is able to protect and fortify some of the balefires. So he's working on that process. And also he has agreed to take a look into some of the more banal places in town. Because let's face it, if it is the Dante, they have organized in a way that we could not have imagined that they would.
Now, history would suggest the Dante don't tend to organize.
Yeah, but however, these facts that line up before us is telling a very different story. And if it isn't them, then who?
Yeah, it does seem that the Dante are somewhat organized, yes.
I can't help but shake the feeling that this is not the end, and there's going to be more trouble. I would rather us be more prepared than need be, than to get caught with our pants down again.
And what do you suggest?
I suggest that we organize into some type of, we have to investigate this and we have to go at this full steam. We've done a lot of things in the past very half-heartedly, and nothing seems to get done. With fractions of us running in different directions, especially after the bombing at Silly Fest, we are practically at each other's throat most of the time. This does not serve us in any way, shape, or form.
That's very true.
Now, as I spoke with Kagoma, I don't want to be the one running in the streets with a sign saying the world is coming to an end. But if we don't collaborate all the information that we have been gathering, it may be too late tomorrow, so to speak. There's a great many of us that are homeless and displaced that can do nothing for morale at this point.
I've heard of your freehold is no more.
Well, I still have my freehold. However, it took a very big hit. A large part of it is uninhabitable due to the covering of the ice, which in of itself is very dangerous. I would advise that there be. We have found that the ice is not affected by any of our cantrips, so melting it does not work. And feeding it glamour lends to a very violent reaction. I almost got scared.
Oh, that's different.
Asher seems to believe that the ice has a very unique banal quality to it. Although it doesn't seem to be alive, it does react very violently to glamour.
That's interesting.
We're also looking into ways to. Well, the theory is that if an ice dragon is the cause of this, maybe some sort of fire dragon or related ability can melt it. But this is just a theory.
Have you done any research to see if something like this has happened in the past?
Yes, we are in the process of doing so. And like I said, most of what we have at this point is conjecture. However, there's enough evidence to warrant looking into it. Because if we do nothing, then we are at fault for our own demise.
I agree. I have feelers out and about. Um, though with the recent everything, we're stretched kind of thin.
And that's exactly the way they want us. At some point, we're going to have to put our differences aside before it's too late.
That's more difficult for some.
Yes, however, the bombing at Unsilly Fest didn't. I think, pardon me for saying this, but I think we should take this incident and turn it into our 9/11 because we have to rally behind this. If not, they're going to pick us off.
So you suggesting some kind of campaign using Unseelie Fest as a rallying cry?
This actually is a campaign using everything that's happened in the last 9 months. I think a lot of people did not rally behind what happened at Sun Silly Fest because they felt that it was an unsilly problem. However, the destruction of so many freeholds, it knew no labels. This has to be our call to war. With so many that are displaced, now would be a good time to sway the hearts of many. We don't need to jump into a war, however, we do need to prepare for one.
And what do you need from me?
Well, Count Valerius and Kagoma speak highly of your ability to get things done and search out information. I just need for you to do what you do best.
You need info.
Correct. Because we can't run to the ground with conjecture.
Any info in particular?
Well, there's a couple of ways we can go about this. If someone was controlling the ice dragon, finding it would be a logical step. Finding, well, as Timmy is currently doing, we're hoping if the Dantain have actually organized, there would be a sort of nest of them somewhere in the city or thereabouts.
Finding the Dantain is a lot harder than one might think.
Oh, I'm pretty sure because if it could have been done, it would have been done a long time ago. However,
Yeah.
if they are organizing into a group, it may be a lot easier because, let's face it, the more legs on an insect, the easier it is to see.
I've had people looking, nothing to come up just yet. But it's a big city, a lot of places to hide.
I guess the thought should be if you were a Dante and you wanted to destroy everything that we stand for, the first step would be to create unrest through the bombing, a preemptive strike, and trying to destroy the balefires would leave your enemies crippled. Where would you hide? What would be the most likely place for you to have your base of operations? Unfortunately, I do not know enough about the Dante to make such assumptions.
Neither do I. If we can narrow down places to look, well,
Well, Rancor suggests places with high venality. Um, so Timmy is actually going through some of the hospitals. Um, he has access to most, being a med student. And it was also suggested that we get some of the places where an ice dragon would actually be covered, so to speak. I mean, uh, it's I know it's not an easy, it's not going to be an easy task at all, but we have to start doing something.
I think I might know someone who might be able to track down the ice dragon. I haven't contacted them in quite some time. I'll see what I can do on that front.
Kagoma has given permission to use some of the non-physical crediting to help Timmy with, I believe he said, uh, some Weaver wards to help us to help the balefires, to protect the balefires. Because if they could attack once with an ice dragon, they can do it again, and the next time could be more devastating than we are ready to realize.
Right.
I hope I am wrong, but every fiber of my being says that I am not.
It's very possible there's a larger hand moving pieces.
And you could very well be right. And all we can do is remove their pieces from the board until we find out who it is. For who they are.
Well, if we're dealing with a big knot of conspiracies, the only thing we can do is start pulling at threads.
Yes. Very much agreed. So,
I will begin looking into the
yeah, I
location
agree with that
of.
statement.
Hmm?
Go ahead.
I will start looking into the location of the ice worm. And if you can narrow down places to look, I can point my friends in a more narrow direction.
Agreed. I would like to say that this conversation has taken a weight off of my shoulders. However, as the situation stands, now is not a time to breathe easily.
We should all be on our guard.
Yes. Well, I want to thank you very much for lending me an ear on this matter.
It's been my pleasure.
Now, seeing that as I have been tasked with the security of Krejny, I must go see to these duties.
I understand.
And Zander will stand. Thank you. Giving you a bow of the head. And he will take his leave.
And just nods. Farewell.
Alrighty, and we will call that a scene. Thank you for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Good evening and good night.